Colombia's president orders national oil company to cancel U.S. venture over environmental concerns. Associated Press. Colombian President Gustavo Petro on Tuesday ordered the state-run oil company Ecopetrol to cancel a joint venture with a U.S.-owned company that was expected to produce around 90,000 barrels of oil per day, citing environmental concerns. In a nationally televised speech, Petro said he opposed the recent extension of a deal between Ecopetrol and Occidental Petroleum, or Oxy, because it involved extracting oil through fracking, a controversial technique used to extract oil and gas from shale rock. Below are your comments. Interesting. I wondered why. Colombia is in an impressive leadership position. The country generates as much as 75% of its electricity from renewable energy, more than the global average. The country has as many as 28 hydrogen projects in preparation. Effective pushback. I bet there are lesser number of tears about Colombian government funds than there are among the oil executives, especially if they have sunk money into exploratory drilling. You can interpret as you want. I hardly think that this announcement's timing is coincidence. Trump just pounded on Colombia mere days ago. While I'm pleased that Colombia is looking for green energy alternatives, I'm inclined to think that the environmental angle in this case is just a pretext. What I really think is happening here is that Colombia just flipped a giant middle index finger at America in general and it is glorious. I live in Pennsylvania. I totally agree with their position on fracking. You're injecting something that's worse than antifreeze thousands of feet into the ground to break our OCKS. That can't be good long term. Look at that. Colombia didn't fold after all. This is clearly retaliatory. Environmental clean renewable energy is the most sensible way to go. Good for him and the planet. I'm sure Colombia has no desire to do business with the Trump administration. I expect many more countries to follow suit. This is nationalism. That is what Trump and his supporters want, so they should not complain. Our two former allies may have made some calls to other countries. Turns out, there's alternatives to doing everything Trump's way. If enough world leaders provide that metaphorical punch in the nose, it'll start adding up and his popularity will plummet. Which will create a lot of vulnerable Republicans come the midterm. And they really don't want that. At least some countries have presidents that have an interest in doing what's right for the future, instead of what's right for their pocketbooks. Yep, earthquakes are frequent now in the basin. First it was decades of pumping it dry, and now they're fracking to get the rest. Wouldn't be surprised to see it all collapse. Officially day 16 of the Trump presidency. 15 days passed when the Russia-Ukraine war was supposed to end. 15 days passed when we're promised gas for less than $2 per gallon. 15 days passed when eggs were supposed to be 99 cents a dozen. I'll tell you what's brewing at home and abroad: a complete boycott and divestiture of the USA. Well done, Gustavo. It's nice to see a leader actually stand up for the planet and not be bought off by huge money. A lot more of U.S. foreign contracts are going to be cancelled. Canada cancelled a $68 million contract with Leon. Good going, Donnie. Such a great negotiator and business mind. Smart environmental and independence move by Colombia. Breaking away from the U.S. will benefit Colombia for as long as Trump and Vance are in the White House. U.S. allies and trading partners will all be hedging away from Trump, and that means away from the U.S. Watch for the upcoming EU trading bloc meeting of its 27 nations to announce moves away from U.S. banks and U.S. tech companies. Tesla has already seen a 40% drop in YoY sales in Europe, and Musk will likely be forced to close operations and retreat from Europe as a result. Tesla has slid to number 7 in market share. Trump started a trade war with our closest East allies with his tariffs and promises of tariffs. TG are going to make Trump pay. Look for NATO to replace U.S. weapons systems with other nations in all areas except ICBM missiles. Trump and the U.S. are in for a very rough time. The world no longer sees the U.S. as a leader, but rather a crumbling democracy with a rigged and uncompetitive capitalist system. Not to worry, the Chinese offer will be much more environmentally sound. Colombia loses nothing, China gains, Trump's America loses. Every new enemy that Trump makes is a new friend for China. Great job, MAGA. I think the going is going to get very rough for American companies and American brands everywhere. You cannot make Donald Trump and Elon Musk your brand ambassadors and expect the world to buy. It's the Bud Light effect. There will likely be hundreds of billions of dollars in U.S. economic losses coming from direct foreign investments in U.S. and indirect losses from exports and foreign travel and consumer spending in U.S. over the next few years. All is a direct consequence of Trump's disrespectful and delusional treatment of U.S. trade partners and allies. Realize that a leader and a government gone rogue are an invitation for abuse of power and establishment of a authoritarian rule. The U.S. is suddenly not much different than Venezuela. I salute you for being honest, environmentally conscious, and ready to stand up to the criminal cartel in Washington, D.C. Many happy returns. He didn't back down from Trump. He went silent and took the high road. Nothing wrong with loving the earth. Especially because Trump doesn't think climate change is real. Oh, he thinks it's cool to drill in our oceans and wildlife preserves, too. World leaders look for long-term success for their countries extending beyond 4 years. Politicians who are in an elected office for a short 4 years are only lining their friends' and families' pockets and care less of the people who elected them. Kudos for Colombia. Less money for the US's war machine and aggressive behavior. That being said, I also agree that all countries must accept the repatriation of their citizens or be punished in some economic manner, such as tariffs should they refuse. Please wait a moment. Good for them. It seems like he actually cares about people. It also illustrates the point that there is a cost that comes with dominating people. I'm pretty sure the whole world is looking for ways to cut us out without having to rely on China or Russia too heavily. Imperialism will be the end of us. It is a good dynamic that this man thinks about the earth, and the health of earth is the health of life, including humanity. The world needs to tell Elon Musk and Trump to off. Is anyone surprised that every country in the Americas is very, very upset with Trump and the US? Expect all of these countries to look elsewhere for friends. China, Cuba, or Russia. Please subscribe to my channel. And if you like it, please thumbs up.